Week 11, Video 1. Namaskar. Introduction to Ethics, Bias, and Professional Responsibility in Forensic Linguistics. When language becomes evidence, responsibility becomes everything. Welcome to Week 11. As we enter the final phase of our journey, our focus shifts from tools and techniques to something far more fundamental: ethics and responsibility. Forensic linguistics gives us enormous interpretative power, but power without responsibility is dangerous. When a single linguistic observation can influence someone's liberty, safety, reputation, or even their future, we must handle that responsibility with humility, care, and moral clarity. What makes ethics central to forensic linguistics? Forensic linguistics is not just analysis, it is intervention in real human conflicts. Our interpretations can affect court decisions, policing strategies, media narratives, or the emotional lives of victims. The ethical stakes are high because misinterpretation is not merely an academic mistake. It may alter the direction of justice itself. Ethics protects the discipline from misuse and ensures fairness for all stakeholders: victims, accused persons, investigators, and the society at large. The role of the linguist: an expert, interpreter, and ethical guardian. A forensic linguist serves as an interpreter of meaning. He's also a guardian of accuracy. Our task is not to help one side win. Our task is to help the court understand. And this neutrality, my friends, is non-negotiable. Whether analyzing a threat letter, authorship dispute, or digital harassment case, the linguist must remain guided by evidence, not by emotion, assumption, or pressure from the legal teams. No. Bias, the silent intruder in linguistic judgment. Bias can enter linguistic analysis through personal beliefs, cultural assumptions, ideological preferences, or unconscious stereotypes. Bias can distort interpretation in multiple ways: assuming guilt based on writing style, misreading tone due to cultural distance, or evaluating grammar as intelligence, interpreting emotional intensity as aggression, or privileging standard English over regional dialects. Recognizing bias is not a weakness, it is professional maturity. Case reflection: misinterpretation of vernacular as evidence of threat. In a real-world courtroom exchange, an accusatory interpretation was based on a regional dialect expression that sounded quite hostile in English, but was quite affectionate in its native context. A forensic linguist intervened, explaining cultural nuance and preventing wrongful escalation. This case reminds us that language cannot be understood without its context. Linguistic diversity must be respected, both legally and ethically. Power dynamics in expert testimony: when your words influence a verdict. The moment an expert enters a courtroom, the linguistic environment changes. Judges, lawyers, and jurors treat expert statements as authoritative. This power demands caution. We must avoid overstating certainty, avoid sensationalizing data, and absolutely avoid implying conclusions that exceed linguistic evidence. The ethical linguist always clarifies limitations and avoids absolute claims unless supported by overwhelming evidence. Confidentiality, protecting voices that cannot protect themselves. Many cases involve vulnerable individuals, victims of harassment, minors targeted in digital grooming, families affected by suicide, or communities impacted by hate speech. Ethical responsibility requires strict confidentiality. Sensitive texts must be anonymized. Identity markers must be removed unless legally required. Linguists must safeguard the dignity of those whose words enter the forensic domain. Ethics in the digital age, data privacy, and consent in linguistic evidence. Digital investigations often involve retrieving chats, emails, or audio files. But not every text is admissible evidence. Ethical practice requires clarity about data origin, lawful access, and explicit consent. Linguists must ask, was this data obtained legally? Do we have permission to analyze it? Could analysis harm an uninvolved party? Ethics extends beyond law. It protects human dignity itself. Avoiding linguistic overreach. When not to make a claim. Sometimes the most ethical answer is the data does not allow us to conclude this. Linguists must resist pressure to over-interpret ambiguous texts, force meaning where none exists, or provide opinions outside linguistic expertise. Ethical restraint enhances credibility. A linguist's integrity lies not in performing miracles, but in respecting evidence. Cultural sensitivity. India's linguistic diversity as a forensic responsibility. India's linguistic landscape is vast and layered. Nuance changes across states, cities, communities, castes, and even age groups. Forensic linguists must appreciate this diversity, especially in interpreting dialects, expressions, idioms, code switching, and multilingual patterns. In a country where language mirrors identity, ethical analysis requires cultural sensitivity. Ethical boundaries in media and public communication. Forensic linguists occasionally comment on public cases. Words spoken on the television or social media can influence public perception. Ethical communication requires caution, avoiding definitive claims, respecting ongoing investigations, and refusing sensationalist interpretations. The goal, my friends, is clarity, not controversy. Professional accountability and continuous ethical training. Ethics is not a one-time checklist. It evolves. New biases emerge as technology changes. New dilemmas arise as digital evidence grows. Ethical competency requires constant learning, peer discussion, and reflective practice. Responsible linguists maintain journals of decisions, consult peers, and seek diverse perspectives. Justice needs skill, but it also needs a conscience. Thank you for beginning week 11 with this reflective session. Ethics is the foundation that keeps forensic linguistics credible, fair, and humane. The techniques may be advanced, but the heart of the discipline lies in protecting truth and respecting the lives behind the language. In the next video, we step into profiling bias, how caste, region, gender, and sociolect influence forensic interpretation, and how experts must rise above systematic prejudice. Thank you.